Before we get into this video, I just wanted to personally welcome you to the channel. This is still something that's very new for me, and so I'm still learning, so I hope you can bear with me, have a good experience, and learn something interesting. So, with that, let's get to it. In spring of 2014, Psycho Jump released an article titled The 12 Buu Mysteries, a series of questions diving into the history of Majin Buu that are not explained either in the anime or the manga. Supreme Kai tells Goku and the others how Majin Buu was created by the evil wizard Bibidi. However, this is later retconned by Toriyama, who stated in the 12 Buu Mysteries interview that Buu was not actually created by Bibidi and had existed since time immemorial, cycling between rampages and long hibernation. During numerous iterations of this cycle, he absorbed the evil elements of mankind, becoming steadily more violent. But what exactly did he mean by that? How did Boo absorb the evils of humanity? Well, I think I have the answers. In our reality, when I think of the evils of humanity, I immediately think of events like the Holocaust, where millions of innocent people were murdered. I think about wars and corrupt leaders, slavery, and senseless violence. Millions of years ago, before the dawn of humanity, the evil wizard Bibbidi and Boo wreaked untold havoc and destruction. Bibidi's magic allowed him to control and direct Boo via great strain, according to Toriyama. Bibidi quickly learned that Boo could not truly or completely be controlled. Bibidi and Boo went on destroying numerous worlds, countless lives, both good and evil. I believe that Boo experienced both sides of this, and the longer that Boo and Bibidi were together, the more time that he spent with him, the more violent he became. Their path of destruction led to the sacred realm of the Kais, where Boo battled each Kaioshin, north, east, south, and west, killing the west and north Kaioshin, overpowering the strong south Kaioshin, and finally faced off against the Grand Supreme Kai Daikaio, the benevolent leader of the Kaioshin who stood between Boo and Shin. Daikaio stood up against Boo with only a small portion of his former godly power. A few million years prior, Daikaioshin battled Moro the Planet Eater and used up the majority of his godly power in order to seal away Moro's magic. With this great sacrifice, Moro was imprisoned for 10 million years. I believe, based off of what we saw in Dragon Ball Super, had Daikaio not given up or lost his godly power against Moro, he would have easily dispatched of Majin Buu. Later, Shin, the West Kaioshin, was able to avenge his comrades and managed to destroy Bibidi while Buu was still sealed away in the ball. But the struggle was not over. In the 2014 full-color manga interview for the Buu Saga, Toriyama had told us that Bibidi did not have a son in the literal sense, but rather he had a doppelganger. Bibidi split himself and created Babidi. Sometime after Bibidi's death, Babidi came to Earth in order to revive and free Majin Buu, who was still sealed away and stored on Earth. Buu is freed again, and just like his father Bibidi, Babidi took Buu and together they began to wipe out humanity on Earth. After meeting Goku, Buu realized something, that he didn't have to listen to Babidi anymore, and brutally disposed of the evil wizard. Two disgusting human beings took advantage of the chaos created by Buu and indulged themselves in a gruesome sport of destroying people's lives. A defenseless elderly couple were their first victims. Finding a sick pleasure in this act, the two of them moved on to a nearby city for more fun. In the midst of the panic, the world champion Mr. Satan moved out in order to deal with Majin Buu. Mr. Satan encountered Buu, and though he tried to destroy Buu with poison and an explosive Game Boy, an unusual bond had formed between them, which even grew into a friendship. So much to the point that Mr. Satan even gave up on his plan to destroy Boo and believed that he should try to change him instead. And Boo felt happiness. For the first time in his really long life, Boo didn't have a master to order him around or to tell him what to do. While Mr. Satan, Boo, and Bee were playing outside, the killers had arrived and finished their joyride throughout the city. Bee, the dog, who had helped form their bond and strengthened their friendship, was shot. And in an instant, something dark had woken up inside of Boo. Just before this powerful anger erupted inside of Boo, Mr. Satan erupted in his own fit of rage. He quickly rushed the two shooters and quickly disposed of both of them, reminding us and these two men that Mr. Satan was not to be trifled with. Although he was a regular human, he was extremely strong and extremely skilled as a fighter. Quickly calling out to Boo, Boo came back to his senses and rushed over to revitalize B. The dog stood back up and was completely healed. Mr. Satan and Boo celebrated that their friend was alive and well. The heartless killer had gotten back to his feet and shot Mr. Satan. It was then something inside of Boo snapped. The anger that Boo had just felt returned full force, and it grew rapidly. Sensing that an evil was rising to the surface, Boo healed Mr. Satan and urged him to take the dog and run away. Smoke shot out and gathered overhead where a new Boo was formed, with gray skin and black eyes and a blue cape. It stood taller than Boo, skinny, but ominous. Because of the incredible anger that Boo felt, the evil inside of him grew greatly. It became another Boo. In other words, they had separated into Evil Boo and Innocent Boo. The two evil humans who lusted for violence and death were the tipping point for Boo. I believe this is what Toriyama was referring to when he spoke about the evils of humanity, the result of evil in the hearts of people that further corrupted Boo and gave birth to this new evil. Evil Boo did everybody a favor and immediately dispatched the killer in one of the most beautiful and satisfying overkill moments in fiction. Evil Boo challenged Good Boo, claiming that Good Boo was unfamiliar to him. From the moment Evil Boo appeared, Good Boo was unsettled. Evil Boo swiftly overpowers Good Boo, as most of Boo's former power was taken by this evil counterpart. In a moment of frustration, Boo uses his candy beam against the evil Boo, but it is blown back into his own face, and he himself is turned into a chocolate bar and consumed by this new evil Boo. The moment he had consumed the good Boo, he began to undergo a transformation as well, into something new and something much more sinister. This new Boo, who many refer to as Super Boo, popped the second killer like an overfilled balloon. He then went to attack Mr. Satan, but he froze. The good inside of Boo still lived, and somehow was able to hold him back. Though good still existed deep inside, Super Boo himself was not good. He was intelligent, and he took pleasure in killing. The evil of Boo continued to show itself, and in his worst act on Earth, Boo wiped out every human being on the planet who was not on the lookout and was not fast enough or powerful enough to survive. Thanks to the efforts of Goten, Trunks, Gotenks, Goku, Gohan, and Vegito especially, nearly everybody who was absorbed by Majin Buu was freed. Vegeta tore Good Buu out of his pod, and Buu began to change. Kibito Shin watched in horror as Super Buu turned into a hulking form that was all too familiar. The nightmare of his past was returning. The unrestrained Pure Buu, otherwise known as Kid Buu, a pure incarnation of the idea of evil. His power now restored, as the pure Daikaioshin was no longer inside of him, but was inside of Good Buu. His goodness no longer hinders Pure Buu, supposedly more evil than Evil Buu, or perhaps Evil Buu was just a unique form of the evil of Kid Buu that had taken shape, though not nearly as powerful, which is a grievous misconception among fans. In the final battle, Goku prepared the Genki Dama. Energy from his friends and family had gathered, but it wasn't enough. Vegeta spoke to the people of Earth, but had little success. Doubt, speculation, and stubbornness held them back from lending their energy. Goku himself tried, and even old friends of his had recognized his voice and offered to lend their energy as well, powering up the Spirit Bomb, but still not to the extent to where it could defeat Buu. Humanity almost costs itself, as well as the universe, everything. Finally, a man who spent years of his life lying stood up and spoke out to the people of the world. Their world champion, Mr. Satan, scolded the people of Earth and called for their aid. Humanity believed and loved in Mr. Satan, believed in and loved Mr. Satan. They raised their arms into the air and lent their energy. Humanity and even those in other worlds came together and lent their energy. They came together as one, and with one last push and an assist from the Namekian dragon Purunga, the evil of Majin Buu was destroyed. The battle against Buu had left such a profound impact on Goku that he made a vocal wish that this Majin Buu could come back as somebody good for a friendly one-on-one. Goku's feelings are only understood by his fellow strongest, and Buu was the strongest enemy he had ever faced. King Yama had heard Goku's wish and put it through. Toriyama later stated that since Pure Buu was pure evil, he was easily purified in the afterlife and was able to reincarnate into the pure-hearted Oob, unknowingly awaiting the day that he would reunite once again with Goku. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. This was a really long video for me, and it took a lot of work and a lot of effort to put this thing together. Again, you probably can tell, I'm still very new to this. I'm still learning. I'll always probably say that, but it's true. But man, I love the Boo Saga. It is so good. I don't know. I don't get it. Like some people don't like it. It's some of their least favorite, arcs in DBZ, but for me, it's probably my favorite. I love the mysticism. I love the magic. I love the whole concept of magic and wizards and demons. Um, I love everything that happened with Majin Vegeta. I think there's some amazing themes that are overlooked in the Buu Saga. With this one, I, I don't know how to explain it. Like going over that interview with Toriyama and hearing how he explained how Boo had absorbed the evils of humanity, I was trying to think. I was like, what? How does he do that? He can't absorb like, you know, um, what's the word for it? Like, not emotions. It's not the word, but he can gain emotions and feel things. Like he can absorb knowledge and experiences, I think is kind of what he was referring to in that regard. And you know, coming across all these planets with Bibbidi, Bibbidi himself is an evil warlock, and he just constantly exposes Boo to evil, to more and more evil. And I'm sure he came across both good and innocent and evil people as well. And just throughout the many, many, many years, the almost countless years that he has been alive, he accumulated all of this, and it eventually just changed him. And I think a good visual, example of that is in the Boo saga where Good Boo is on Earth. He hadn't lived as long as, Kid Boo, but he was always battling with himself, his inner, the evil inside. He was like Goku explained, he was like a naughty child. He didn't know better, but he was just doing what he was told and thought it was fun to, destroy cities and people and do all these things. But when he started to develop a real friendship, when he developed, you know, a good relationship with Mr. Satan and B, um, he gets to this point in his life that he had never been in before. And this part always made me super sad because I thought it was kind of a tragic thing when I was younger, when he makes these friends and then all of a sudden they're taken away. But not only that, he loses it. He fucking snaps. Like when Mr. Satan gets shot, um, and I remember I was like scared for him. I was like, oh no, what's happening? Why is Boo changing? Is he ever, you know, I thought he was doomed. I didn't think he could ever come back. But, now that I'm older, I didn't realize that, it wasn't just the evil that was already in him. It was the evil he experienced on Earth, which was those two killers, those two guys who went around just attacking and killing people. Like they did it for sport. They didn't do it for any real reason. They had no purpose, and it was just like one of the most evil acts I think throughout all of the series. And when Boo experienced that, I think that was an example of him absorbing those evils of humanity, and it made him more violent. But this time it was his anger had reached a boiling point, and created evil Boo. You know the story. You all know the story by now. This is something that I know you're very experienced with, but it was just something I wanted to go over and share some thoughts with you. Some stuff that I've, you know, noticed. Maybe you've noticed them already, and if you did, I understand. But if you didn't, I hope I was able to provide a cool new perspective. I hope you were able to have a good experience and a good time on this video. I did. It took a lot of work, but it helps, and I think it'll help me improve and be faster and better in the future. But seriously, guys, thank you so much. Any of you who spent the time to watch this and have reached this point, I seriously appreciate you. Please do me a favor though, hit that like and subscribe. It does help me out a lot. Um, get this channel, noticed more, and as that happens, I plan on, trying to be better and better each time and provide better videos each time as well. But again, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. We'll catch you next time.